What up, what up, what up? It's your man's Wolf Woodell, aka the Roman Realtor, and a few friends have reached out to me about the housing market in Sosua and how do I feel about it, what I think might happen. So, as a 13-year vet in the industry of real estate, I figured I'd offer my opinion. Okay, so a couple things to you're right. The housing market before all this happened was already stagnant, and you have to understand a few mechanics to even understand how this works. So. The financing in DR is challenging. That's why you don't see anything take off very fast, because you have to be in a very good position financially to buy in Dominican Republic, right? It's not a thing where you can put 3%, 5% down, even 10% down like in other countries, right? So you need to be financially very strong and solid to buy in the first place. And the majority of people that I've met that buy, it somehow ties into their real estate in their home country, right? Whether it be Canada, a lot of Canadians buy, and the States, right? You have some people from everywhere, but that's what I majority see. And those two markets have benefited from very strong economics and home appreciation, right? So people sell their houses and they move there and they use that capital. People are using lines of credit, it's called a HELOC, pulling capital from the appreciation in their home and buying overseas. So that's how a lot of people are buying, which drove the market in the right direction. When things started to change, and at least in the US, I don't study the economy in Canada so much, but in the US, the economy has shifted drastically. It's actually a recession right now, but they can't say that because then you'll stop spending money. They need you to spend money, right? So it's a recession. People they're struggling. It's very heavy. Just cut everything off and pay attention. Look at the people. People are struggling. So there's not a lot of extra capital. Homes are sitting on the market in the U.S. for a very long time. They're still held and steady in terms of values, but we're at 30-year lows as far as activity in the housing market in the U.S. That translates over to DR because there's not a lot of free-flowing capital right now. So I say that to say the market was already stagnant before these current shifts in the Sosua. So what you'll have is investors who have bought there. I think some of those investors will pull out because they're going to see drastically decreased numbers in terms of renting their property, occupancy when it comes to Airbnb and things like that. Airbnb has actually pulled some properties from the market over there as well. So I think you will see people offloading some properties, and everything is supply and demand. If homes are already sitting, you're going to see more supply hit the market. They're going to sit longer, which is great for buyers. So yes, it is a great time to start looking at buying in Sosua because you're going to have a lot more supply, and supply and demand is the name of the game. People don't have a lot of cash, so if you do have the cash, the properties are available, you can kind of name your price because people are going to pull out, right? And you have to remember, I always tell people, if you follow me, the water is the most powerful tool in real estate. It's a finite resource, right? So that beach ain't going nowhere. Alicia Beach, Playa Laguna, Sosua Beach, those beaches are there. It's God's painting, right? You cannot change that. It's a beautiful place to be, very serene and peaceful, something very therapeutic about the water. So those home values will not stay down. Eventually, there'll be change and people will come back. It could be a different tourist, but people are going to come back, right? There's a few challenges, and it's going to take a couple of years. I'm not going to tell people, 6 months things will change. No, right? They have some challenges to get past. So some of the challenges, in my opinion, the main challenge is the flights. The airport is privately owned. The flights are very pricey. Some of I think the highest in the country. So that's going to be one of the big hurdles that they'll have to get over to change the tourism. I see flights from $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 consistently. My friends that come over and visit, they're paying those rates. So that is one thing for a person to work and make a solo trip and pay $700 or $800 for a flight. It's a whole different animal when dad has to pony up $3,200, $4,000 for a family of 5 to just get there. So that will be one of the biggest challenges. And then infrastructure, some work has to be done on infrastructure. But through it all, overall, it's a great place. And through time, it's going to continue to appreciate the beautiful beaches, as I said, you just can't top it. When you start talking about serenity, there's the beautiful beaches, Playa Alicia, Playa Sosua, Playa Laguna. And then Sosua has a natural characteristic that I hope doesn't go away. You know, the natural trees that are still around, a little bit of the ruggedness, you know. Sometimes when things are too polished, it doesn't feel real. When I hang out in Punta Cana, for me, sometimes it'll feel like the U.S. with a different currency. The pricing and stuff for the food can be very similar to the U.S. or even more. But Sosua has a beautiful, unique naturalness about it. I always tell people, I've been to BRD, I went to Punta Cana. Punta Cana is cool. I like the innovation, but I'm like, you've never really seen the country. And that's what I love about Sosua. You see everyday people. That's why I started doing tons of charity work, because I saw these people and I saw a need, and it fulfilled my heart. But that's a personal mission. But yes, the question is it a good time to buy Sosua? I think so, absolutely, because you're going to have a lot more supply, and that will give you opportunity. It's going to be a buyer's market. It already was. Now it's even more so. But you have to go in with the mindset and the patience, knowing that it's going to take a couple years to turn things around for you to see those occupancy rates start to increase and come back. But it's a beautiful place, and I always have a part of my heart. Sosua is a great place to own property. Real estate is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. If you buy a piece of property, you shouldn't be looking at the next 2 years, 3 years anyway. You should be saying, in 10 and 15 years, what does this look like? And in my opinion, you buy something now, 10 or 15 years, you'll be happy with the investment you make. So appreciate you watching, guys. That's my insight on the Sosua real estate market.